Hey everybody, I'm stuck in the past. Today, it's a little bit different kind of day. Normally, we're cutting hay and baling it. Today, we're going to be planting it. So, for a little bit of channel transparency, I'm not going to be in that big field we usually see anymore. I actually left that place. There were some disagreements between me and the property owners, and long story short, we just didn't really coexist very well. Kind of was like that from the beginning, but was trying to make it work, but after so long, you really just can't force something that's not going to happen. So, to basically close that statement, we're on to bigger and better pastures. That being said, there's a farm I used to work for a long time ago, and I guess not all that long ago. Basically, my whole life I've worked on and off for this place, and it was sort of my first job. About when I was 10 years old, I started working there, mowing the grass, and I kind of continued that for quite some time. Since I've gotten myself regular jobs, and now I'm doing my farming thing, and so now I'm on and off, but the two have kind of merged now. So, we're going over there and we're going to establish some hay fields. They want to make their own hay so they can feed their horses. They're kind of tired of paying market value for hay, so this is kind of their way to do that. And it just so happened I just left the other place, so I've got time to go ahead and take them in. So, that's where we're headed today. We're going to establish, or try to establish anyway, 8 acres of hay in one of the pastures that they have on the property, and we're going to see how it goes. Unfortunately, I couldn't get a hold of any kind of big planting equipment, so with me I've got a rented 60-inch Bethco slit seeder. We're going to talk about that when we get there, and I'll show you how it works, but it's actually a turf seeder specifically for grasses and hays. So it's going to work for us just fine. It's just going to be a little bit slow going. So we'll see you in the field. So this is going to be our ride for the day. Hook up to that slit seeder right there. Then we're going to head down to the field that's way over there. I can't tell you how many hours I've actually spent on this particular tractor, but it's been a lot. So, oh, that's a new feature. It's starting to move without even being on it. Well, that's cool. Well, anyway, let's get this thing hooked up so that we can get started. That looks like it works for me. So now we're going to have to fill it up real quick. Seed. I'd like to set this thing up correctly. So, like I was saying in the intro, this is a slit seeder. And the way that works is there's these rotating pieces in the bottom that'll kind of agitate the soil, make for a nice seed bed, and then this roller will pack the seeds in after they drop through these seed tubes. You set your rate here, which it's a little funky, but we're going to figure that out. And other than that, you're off to the races. So let's get this thing filled up and head out to that little field and see what we can do. So now with everything filled up, we've got a table here, and this is distribution in pounds per acre. Now you'll notice along here there's nothing that says anything about orchard grass, but the seed type is incredibly similar to fescue, the K31. So you can see that position 0.5, position 1 is 30, 4 to 30. So I'm going to put it right there in about the middle. So I guess you could say that's going to be like 0.75 is where I'm going to have the lever, or at least I'm going to hope the lever is. Lever's a little wore out, so we're just going to hope for the best here. If I'm a little light, that's not too big a deal. I'll go back over it at a lighter setting and then just try to cover the field one more time. It'll be a long day if I have to do that, but it'll be what it'll be. But that's what we're going to run off of, this fescue K31. The seed type's incredibly similar, about the same size. So that being said, the settings are here. Loosen your little jam nut. And the way it works is, it opens up this little cup in here a certain distance, and that's how much seed will drop at a time. So where we're going to be is probably about there, which with as wore out as the little slider is, I think that's about where we got to be. So let's head down to the field and see what happens. Now with our seed rate set, it's all working the way it should. Drop tubes fall off down on that little deflector there, and it all kind of just shakes off of there, and from there it just kind of trails off and gets pushed in by those rollers.
Some of them are on top, but most of them are getting pressed in, which is supposed to happen. And this is what it should look like. So that's going to be our trunk for the day. I think we have her set where we need her. So, alright, well, let's get to it. Who needs GPS for a straight line? Looking pretty good to me. 3 passes in, and they're only about as far over as 1 pass would have allowed us with the brush hog that we've got out here. This farm's got a 15-foot folding bat wing, and these 3 passes at about half the speed would have been 1 pass at twice the speed with that machine. But it's alright, it's worth it. We're gonna get this field looking real nice, well established. Little cedar in the back's just hopping right along. Little rototiller doing its thing. It's gonna be a few hours. That's alright though, at least we know we're getting the right amount of seed in. So about 12 hours in now, we've made about 25 passes. Just kidding. It's moving along, not as fast as I'd like, but it's happening. Nice thing about the slit drive on this thing is that it really agitates the soil, and it actually kind of destroys all this taller dead stuff that we sprayed off earlier this year. So what it's effectively doing is making a wonderful cover for all the soil, almost like when you you broadcast some grass seed on your lawn and put some straw on it. Basically the exact same thing. So it's establishing pretty good down in here. Quiet little cedar. Tractor's pretty quiet too. He's back there doing its thing. In about 7 or 8 more passes, I think I'm going to get out, check the seed boxes, and make sure that we're actually using the right amount of seed. I don't want to see too much seed gone, but I also don't want to see too little seed gone. So I'm hoping by about 1/3 of the field I should be a little more than half empty, because I still have over half the seed left in bags. So that should be right about the rate we're looking for, or at least close. So I think I said it backwards in the last video clip. I think I should be more or less a half a tank right now, if my rate is correct. Which I would think it is. It's looking like it should be. So I should have about a half a hopper left. Let's see. A little less than half, but that's fine. That just means I'm going in a little heavy. I have enough seed that I can do that. I don't know what that is. Might come out of that. Might come out of those bags. So actually, we're pretty much right on the money where I need to be. So that's really good. I've got another 125 pounds, or sorry, 75 pounds. I got another 75 pounds of seed left. And I'm putting it down at a little heavier than 15 pounds per acre. So it looks like it's all coming out exactly like it's supposed to. About 1/3 of the way through the field, maybe a little more than 1/3 of the way. So I'll probably make it over to that shed over there. And once I've gotten that far, I'll come back up. I'll go back up and refill. And maybe grab a spot of lunch. And then get back at it. Let's get back to her. Well, we're down to the wire on seed, but we also don't have that much further to go. This is always the most stressful part of planting for me. I always hope that we have enough. But I think we're gonna make it. I'm sure I've got at least 7 or 8 more passes left worth of seed. I think that'll get us pretty close. If I don't make it all the way to the fence line, I'm not mad about that. Probably make it so that we could cut 1 pass around here with the brush hog, the bat wing anyway. And that'll give me some space up against the fence that I can then run the tractor and not run over the hay and everything. But we'll see. It's been a long day. Started at 10 o'clock and it's almost 3 o'clock now. Just really not making much progress every pass. The fact that it's about 60 inches every 3 or 4 minutes. At least something like that. It's taking its time. But we're getting there. Really good news is we're supposed to get rain tonight, and not a whole lot, but just a nice steady shower for about an hour. So there couldn't be a better amount of rain to get when you're trying to get stuff established and get it germinating. So it's really kind of worked out perfectly. So hopefully it all comes up the way we want it to. We'll see in the next week or so. Well, that about covers it. So I was off by about 25 pounds-ish. So we've got to strip out the back that's a little wider than I want, even though I want to leave a little bit of distance over there. So I think tomorrow I'm going to bring my broadcast spreader. We're going to get one more bag. And we're going to go ahead and just lay it real heavy along that back side there. And then I'll do the turn rows too, just to have them done. And then whatever's left, I'll just kind of spread around. And that ought to do something for us. But other than that, let's say 80% of the field got planted in nice. Should be good to go now. Well, we're back. And with me I brought the broadcast seeder. We're going to finish what we couldn't finish yesterday with some broadcasting action. Only got about 50 or 60 feet worth to really do between here and the end of the fence line. So it shouldn't take much to get done. Now, have to pardon it. It's going to be a little noisy sounding, but it does the job. It's pretty simple. You just open up the door here and the seeds flow. Of course, it doesn't really want to stay open. I might actually have to adjust that. Yeah, let me do that. Because it's not opening far enough, I need to make it open a little wider. About, I don't know, 10 or so videos back, you might remember this machine. I welded that PTO shaft and got the ends all working again. What I didn't show you was these little pieces I welded to make the thrower table throw again. But other than that, that's all I really did to make it work. Now, to get this door to open some more, I have to pull this pin and move it to one of these locations, which will then make the stop a little bit higher. I'm going to do that off camera though, because it's just kind of hard to do all that with one hand. Alrighty, that should do it. Got a big pile of it on there now. It's not a whole lot that I'll be able to show you on this, so I'm probably going to just go ahead and get it done. And then this whole field should be completely seeded by that point, and we should be good to go. And just like that, we're done. Just a couple of passes, and now at least we're seeded all the way across. Put it down at a hell of a population. I mean, that couldn't have been, oh man, had to be at least 40 pounds to the acre, maybe 30. 30 to 40 anyway. But either way, it went down pretty easy. Let's go see if we can actually look at the population that's on the ground. It shouldn't be hard to spot the seeds. Yeah, just like that. That's all the seeds down there. See, in general, when you're broadcasting, you got to lay it on a little extra heavy because it's not being integrated the same way the seeds were when we used the drill. Because the seeder, the slit seeder anyway, it integrates the seeds into the dirt by a couple of inches, so it gives it the opportunity to really get moisture and, you know, grow the way it's supposed to. So when you put it just on top, it will grow, but you end up with a lot less germination. So that's why the slit seeder or any other type of like drill type seeder is really the way to go, just for integration. Well, anyway, this has been Stuck in the Past. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you on the next one. We'll be keeping updated on this field.